Hello, vinyl community. It's Matt here again, and this is part five, I think it is, of this big Beatles haul. It's been accumulating over many months, but and this time it's the Grails. So I've only got a few to show you guys because Grails tend to be more expensive. They're harder to find, so I just have a few of these ones. But let's dive into it. First up, Rubber Soul. This is a UK first pressing. Now, this pressing was, I was going to say withdrawn, that's not exactly true, but it was very quickly replaced by a second pressing. EMI were not happy with how this pressing sounded, and so I'll show you guys the label here on that nice thick vinyl. There we go. Now, interestingly, if you look closely at the font on side 1 and then compare it to the font on side 2, you'll see there's a difference. We've got sort of a serif and a sans serif clash going on here. And this is just one of several label variants for this very first pressing. So matrix number is XEX, which means it's mono. The stereo ones were YEX. So XEX 579-1. And then 580-1 on side B, side 2. And this is an interesting listen. So it was withdrawn. It's a so-called loud mix. And so it was, and again, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say withdrawn. It was, it's not like they poured them off shelves as far as I know, but it was quickly replaced by a second, by several mixes actually, second, third, fourth, fifth, which happened in a short period of time. And this very first pressing is known to be a little bit subpar sonically, and I did find that to be true with a couple of the songs. In particular, Nowhere Man was kind of glaring, and it's not, when they say it's the loud cut, it's hard to explain it. It's not audibly louder in some respects, but there are some moments where you think, oh, it's kind of a little heavy on the bass and that type of thing. But other songs on here sounded really good. So Norwegian Wood sounded pretty good. Girl sounded spectacular, actually. I thought that sounded great. So it's sort of it's a mixed bag, but it is a fairly sought after pressing. They're not that difficult to find. I mean, I got this on eBay. I think I got all of these on eBay, except for one. But so yeah, it's not a question, like with a lot of these albums, it's not really a question of finding it. It's a question of finding it at any kind of a reasonable price. And this was a very good price for this. So very happy with that. Next up, we have the White album. Now, this is on white vinyl. You can see a sticker right here. Slightly unfortunately, this is not the UK pressing. This is a US pressing. The UK one is more sought after and also more expensive. The UK one is regarded as one of the better sounding pressings of the White album. The US one is considered, I've read mixed reviews about it, with some people saying it's really pretty poor, other people saying no, it's actually decent, it's just not as good as the UK equivalent. But here it is in all its glory on white vinyl. You can see it's on the purple Capitol label. So this was released, I think, in 1978, I think I'm right in saying. And I think they released, I think Capitol in the US, and then I guess it would have been on Apple in the UK. I think they released them pretty close together around the same time. But I really wanted to have a copy on white vinyl. Again, I would have preferred the UK one, but it was a little rich for my blood, the UK one. It goes for quite a bit more money than the US one, especially in this kind of condition, like still in the shrink and everything. So I'm happy with the US one, though. It does sound good. It's probably... I have a few copies of the White album. This one might be the worst sounding, but it's not terrible. It's okay. Anyway, next up, we have Magical Mystery Tour. Now, this is the German release. This was originally released in 1971, I think it was, on the Horzu label, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. That very first release, sort of take it or leave it. It's supposed to be okay, but you still have, I think, the fake duophonic stereo issues on 3 of the tracks on side 2. That was corrected in later pressings. So for a long time, this was the only way you could get a true stereo copy of Magical Mystery Tour, with the exception of the second half of I'm the Walrus, which I won't go into the reasons why, but that's always in half of that's always in duophonic fake stereo. But anyways, so this is the slightly later pressing from later in the 70s. So it's on the Apple label. German pressing. Here we go. And this is a wonderful sounding album. You get really wide stereo separation, and it's detailed. And it's almost worth owning this just to listen to Baby You're a Rich Man, which sounds just spectacular on here. And here's the back, by the way. So, yeah, you can see that a bunch of writing in German over here. And it's a funny thing. I believe that in Europe, these can be had still for a reasonable price. A lot of people don't know what they are and just think that it's sort of a poor man's substitute for Magical Mystery Tour. That, oh, it's some European version nobody cares about. But other than I would put the more recent stereo remaster up there with this. It's pretty close to it. But if you could only choose one, I think this is the way to go. I mean, it's just a wonderful, wonderful sounding record. And then last but not least, this was the most expensive one. Let It Be Naked. I bought this off a seller off Discogs. I thought this was a great price. I'm not going to say how much I paid for it, but it was by far the cheapest one I could find on there. It was listed as near mint. It actually came sealed. It was still completely sealed. So everything's in here. It's got the 7-inch record in here. Like I said, it was obviously mint since it was still sealed in the shrink. And if anyone doesn't know, here's the back of it. If anyone doesn't know, this was put out in the early 2003. And this was really Paul McCartney's version of Let It Be. This is what he wanted Let It Be to be. As I'm sure most of you know, the original Let It Be album was produced by, or as some people say, overproduced by Phil Spector, using his infamous wall of sound technique. And McCartney in particular did not like the way that album sounded. He didn't like all the embellishments that Spector added, all of the orchestral stuff he added, and of particular, I guess, a contention was the Long and Winding Road, which McCartney wanted to be a very stripped down, basic track. And Phil Spector added all of this huge orchestra stuff to it, which I actually like. I'm going to be honest with you. Out of the two, I prefer the original to this. But I do like... Well, okay, there's a lot of positives to this, apart from the fact that it's collectible. But I do think that the track listing is much better on this than the original. We get rid of the likes of Dig It and Maggie May. Those aren't on here. We also get rid of that chatter between a lot of the songs, which I miss actually when I listen to this. I think, I do kind of miss that. And I know Phil Spector added it, but I miss that Beatle chatter to some extent. I don't miss Dig It and Maggie May. Those were just throwaway things. But and another thing is that this has Don't Let Me Down on it, which really should have been on the original Let It Be album, but it wasn't. It was left off for whatever reason. So this album is much better for having that on. And it makes for a much tighter album with this track listing. So the track listing is Get Back, Dig a Pony, For You Blue, The Long and Winding Road, Two of Us, I Got a Feeling. And then side 2 is One After 909, Don't Let Me Down, I Me Mine, Across the Universe, and Let It Be. And as I mentioned, you do get the extra 7-inch record as well, which is just kind of like, it's little outtakes, it's them talking, little bits of music here and there as they're just kind of rehearsing and jamming, that type of thing. But it's an interesting listen. I do like as well the title track, Let It Be. There's a different take that's used on here. I like, in some ways I prefer McCartney's vocal on this version. The one thing I prefer about the original is Harrison's guitar solo. It's much better on the original compared to this. This uses the slightly more laid back version. The original is much more aggressive, and I just prefer it. But anyways, yeah, I've been wanting this for a while, and I could never find it for a good price. And finally, this guy on Discogs, and it came from Germany. It's an EU pressing. Yeah, it just says printed in the EU. It doesn't give a specific country, but I guess it could be have been printed in Germany, could have been printed in the UK. I'm not sure, but yeah. Of course, now I'm probably going to find that they're probably going to re-release this at some point. I don't know. That could happen. I don't know, because we're supposed to be getting the 50th anniversary Let It Be box set at some point this year. I think later in the summer. It's not even available to pre-order yet. It was supposed to be released last year, but then COVID and everything, so they put it back a year. I'm just wondering whether Let It Be Naked is somehow going to be included in that box set, and then I might regret buying that. But like I said, I did get it for a good price. It was, let's just say, close to half the price of the cheapest one I could find on eBay. So, and it was steel sealed. So really pleased. This was definitely a Grail for me, because it's been out of print for years, and it's getting harder to find. So, all right, guys, that's it. That's all. That's the Grails, just a few of those. But I think I have one more, maybe one or two more Beatles videos, just to sort of clean up some odd bits and pieces that kind of didn't quite fall into any of the other categories for the previous videos. So thank you guys as always for watching. Always appreciate your comments and everybody who subscribes, and until next time, bye bye.